go. Thanks, you guys. Everybody's watching me. So here's what, gentlemen, this part's important. It's our foundation. Easy day, super easy, but it's the foundation of everything we do for this whole chapter. So I need you to imagine that you are one of two types of people. Either you are a young lady or gentleman who danced as a kid, right? So you would think about being able, look, I'm going to show you that I danced as a kid, that you would do turns, right? So you would start, I know, look at me, that I actually know how to do that, right? That you would start here. I'm not going to do it because I can't turn anymore, but you would start and you'd spin around, right? That is one way that we're going to think about things. Or you are a cool girl or guy who's a skateboarder, right? So it turns out if I stand on a skateboard, I fall because I can't skateboard, but my sons are both really good at skateboarding, right? So in today's stuff, we're going to think about what you can do as a skateboard if you are pretty good at it, right? So if I'm on a skateboard, I'm standing like this is the most I can do. Like maybe. I can maybe push my weight on one side and move it like that. That's it. That's all I can do. My sons are good at it and can, of course, spin all the way around, maybe spin more than once or twice. So I want you to kind of keep that in mind today. What we're really talking about today, it's angles, but I want you to think about it as rotation, right? So we are going to be putting angles in what's called standard form. That means we're going to give it a nice background, right? We're going to go ahead and our background is going to be the quadrant plane, right? It's going to be this dude. We're going to take angles and we're going to put them on there, right? But we don't want to just randomly put on angles like just random places. That's weird and not helpful. So we're going to anchor them. And here's how we anchor them. We always have a starting place. So if I'm your little skateboarder person, I'm going to stand somewhere and I'm going to have my one foot, my back leg right here. And here's my little skateboard. And I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to start spinning that skateboard around, right? So here's what it's going to look like for us. We're going to start right here. That's our anchor. That is called the initial side. The initial side, right? And then we're going to start spinning these guys, right? We're going to start putting some angles on there, right? And so I'm going to spin it so I can measure it, right? And I'm going to take it and I'm going to spin this guy and I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to go like 45 degrees. So I go up to like here and I attach him right there. The anchor stays at 0, 0, right? He starts right here at 0 and then he comes up this much. Like if we had, remember those little protractors in geometry? They look like little half moons, right? So, oh, I wonder if I could put one on here. Look, like this guy. Remember this dude right here? Yeah. So now I don't know how to get rid of him. Please go away. I think this was a mistake. Oh no, now there's two of them. Oh God. Okay, I'm just gonna, God, move, move, move. Okay. So here's what you gotta know. I'm right here, I'm on my little skateboard. If I spin in the counterclockwise direction, that's a positive thing, right? So like I'm in my little dancey arms here, I'm gonna spin this way. So this way is positive. That would be like going 45 degrees, right? That is in the positive direction. Oh, the other end, the end leg, I forgot to put that. That's important. That's called the terminal side. He's what's important. Where do you end, right? So if I'm a crappy skateboarder, maybe I can only do 45 degrees, or crappy turner, I'm only going to be facing like this. If I'm decent, right, maybe I can do a half turn and I can make it so I'm spinning this way, right? So he could even go 180 degrees. So we would start him here and he could spin this way. That's 180 degrees, right? And I'm going to put that little arrow. Here's what else. He can also go the other way. And if he goes the other way, if he starts right here, but he goes this way, guess what? He's going negative, right? It's not really negative degrees. It's about his rotational direction, right? So that's what we're talking about. It allows us to say, hey, did I go this way or did I go that way? And that's why it's kind of cool. So people are like, well, how can you have a negative degree? And it's like, well, think of the degree, the negative, like the direction he's spinning in. So counterclockwise, that is going to be positive. Clockwise is negative. And now doing those stupid quadrants makes sense, right? Because when we do quadrants, think about this. We start here at quadrant 1, we go here to quadrant 2, we go here to quadrant 3, we go here to quadrant 4. That's why, right? That's why we start here. That's why we go in that direction, because that's how angles go. Couple other things that you want to know. These are really important. You might want to draw some little circles around here. You need to kind of know these four guys, right? You need to know that if you are just going, if you turn this way, you've turned 90. If you go halfway, you're at 180, 270, and then all the way around is 360. Okay, one full revolution, 360 degrees. So here's what I want you to do. If you would be so kind, I would like you to draw some of these bad boys, right? So you're gonna do this one in a minute. Let's start. If I asked you to do 60, you can watch me do it. Here's what I want you to make sure you do on your graph. I want you to put the initial side. I want you to put where you think, and we're just eyeballing this, we're not making it perfect. I'd say 60 is somewhere like around here, right? And I want you to draw this guy right here. Here's why. Because I need to know, did you go this way, or maybe you went this way? So I need to know, right? So if you're going positive, put it. So do me a favor. Could you start with 75 right now? Do 75 degrees. Again, eyeball it. Here's what you need to know. It's less than 90, right? That's what's important here. So if we're doing this bad boy, I'm going to start right here. I know it's less than 90 a little bit. I'm going to guess it's about there. And I'm going to make sure I put it here. And that's 75 degrees. Now, negative 160 is a little bit weirder, right? We still start here, but we're going to go the other way, right? Remember, this is 180. We're not going to make it all the way to negative 180. So put where you think negative 160 would land. Go ahead and do that. We're going this way, right? If that's taping, they're not going to know what I just did. Okay. Did you get something that looks like this? I think that's pretty damn close to this. Yeah? Does that look about right? That's negative 160. Now, how about the next one? Here's what. I'm on my skateboard and it turns out I'm not bad. Okay, I am, but let's pretend I'm not. And so I am actually going to spin all the way around and then some. So what you need to figure out with your neighbors is, okay, where do you land, right? Obviously you went 360, but where do you land? In other words, take out the 360, see what's left over to see where you land, where your terminal side is. Because clearly I made it all the way around, right? Yay, but I'm going to land where? Where do I land? Go ahead and do that. I love these. I like stuff that I can see. So I got 430. Now you can all see why you have little calculators on your tables. Take away 360. That's the whole, so I made it all the way around plus 70 extra. Does that make sense? So that's 430 all the way around plus. Someone asked in my other class, can I just put this? No, just that little angle is 70. I need to see that circle to tell me you went all the way around, right? All the way around. Are you okay? Now the next one's going to be a little tricky. Next one, you're going to turn your paper over because I forgot to put it on your notes, but it's pretty easy. So here's what I want to do. I would like you just to tell me what quadrant you land in. You don't even have to draw it if you don't want to. But I'm going to be honest with you. I am visual, so I draw it. It's easier for me to be like, oh, I land here. So a quick reminder to you, my sweet friends. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So think about it. Where do you land? Some of you are going to be able to just eyeball it. You're going to feel like, well, that's 90, that's 180, that's 270, that's 360. Obviously, I didn't make it all the way around. I got stuck in old quadrant 4. So some of you are going to be able to just do it like that. But some of you are like me, easier if you draw it. So try number 2. You're spinning around. Do you make it all the way twice? Maybe you just make it once and then some. Use your calculator. Go ahead and give it a try. Where do you end up on number 2? I'm checking people's feet. I think I want those Tasman Uggs. Yeah, but I don't. I think they're going to slip off my feet. So I'm just trying to see, like, if anyone's got them. The Tasman slippers, they don't? No. Well, and I look like an idiot. Yeah, and I like the way, like, you will fall off them. So here's what. On this one, is there something you need? So here's what. I went on number 2, I went all the way around my circle, but then some. So I'm going to take that 663. I'm going to subtract out the 360. Guess what? Here's what he did. He went all the way around once, and then I've got 300 or 303 to use. So he went, landed again in 4. How did you do? Did you do okay? Now, the last one's tricky. Works the same way, but this time, instead of adding 360 or subtracting 360, you're going to add 360, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take it. Obviously, he made it all the way around once. Let's see what's left over. So I'm going to say negative 508. I'm going to add 360, and it looks like he keeps going a little bit more careful to negative 148. That's 90. I think he ends right about there in quadrant 3. Can I see a wiggle of fingers of my friends who got to quadrant 3? Are we okay with that? Then you guys are good. We got one last thing to do, and then I'm shutting up because it is an SS day. Last thing is this. So one day Thomas was skateboarding, and like I saw him practicing doing it because he's like weird like that. He would just like practice. And like I saw him start, and then I heard noises, and then he stopped, and he goes, I did it. And I thought, you didn't look like you didn't do anything to me. Like he literally was exactly where he started. And I'm like, okay, so you went around once. And he goes, I went around 3 times. And I'm like, oh, wow. So here's what. You can look like you haven't done anything because you land at the same place, but maybe you did a bunch of stuff. That's called being coterminal. That means that your ending points are the same, but maybe you've done a lot more revolutions. So if I have 65 degrees, if I went like this, maybe it's 65, or maybe it's 360 plus 65. Does that make sense? The ending would look the same. So 2 guys that share the same ending are called coterminal. And one of the easiest ways to get a coterminal angle is just to add 1 revolution. So to take 65 and get his first coterminal, I'm going to go 65 plus 360. I'm going to get 425. Now, that's the easy one. The trickier one is the negative, because here's what. Say I got this right here, and okay. So I'm here, I got this guy right here, and I'm like, okay, 65, right? Yeah, maybe it's 65 if I went this way, but maybe maybe it's I went this way, right? So I can also have negative angles that share the same end. How do I get those? I take the 65, I subtract 360. So in other words, I'm going to say 65 minus 360. I'm going to clear that out. 65 minus 360. And you know what that is? If I did it this way, 295 in the negative. They look the same. They look the same. They have the same endpoint. But maybe I went this way, or maybe I went that way, right? So I'd like you to do me a favor. Let's start with an easier one, just somewhere on your paper. I'd like you to take the angle 120. I'd like you to find me one positive coterminal and one negative coterminal. Can you do that for me with 120 degrees? Find a positive one and a negative one. I'm just making this one up before we do the next one. So it would be like if you were right here, give me a positive one and a negative one. Anyone brave enough to tell me a positive one? Trev, what'd you get for the positive one? Nope. So here's what we're going to walk it together. So I could just go to 120, or I could go all the way around and land on 120. So just add 360 to it. Ooh, that's if you went backwards. I like that. So Trevor gave me the negative one. Yeah, that works. Or you could go positive more than once. Or yeah. Does that make sense? So could you do me a favor? Could you try 11 for me right now? Now here's what. To get to the negative, you might have to subtract 360 more than once, right? Because it's got a lot of spins in there. When you've got a positive and a negative that you like, can you share it with a neighbor and see if they believe you? Now, there's not just one answer. There's lots of answers because you can keep spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. So one possible positive is 900. But you know what you could have done? You could have just also taken away 360 and said 540 minus 360. And you know what? You end up with 180. That would have worked too. But to get to the negative, you got to have to take it away one more time. Negative 180. I think I'm going to stop here. We're not going to do the last two. You're going to do them on your homework. Your homework is super, super easy. I'm actually going to stop the taping today.